Hi there. It's May the 8th, and we're continuing our journey through the good news of John. We're in chapter 5, and we're reading from verses 24 through to verse 47. Jesus begins this, or rather continues his description of himself and the relationship with the Father. We said yesterday that the Father is the one in Jewish understanding who raises the dead, mechayeh hametim in Hebrew, and it's that is enshrined in the prayer, the daily prayer which Jews say, the Amidah. And Jesus is saying that not only the Father is the one who raises from the dead, but he's given that authority to the Son. And the Son is going to speak, and the Son is going to bring the dead to life. Now, again, this is going to be demonstrated later on in John's Gospel at the grave of Lazarus. But Jesus is claiming here to have this close interconnection with the Father. Now, remember as well, he's speaking to the Jewish leaders here. He's saying that they're not receiving him, but actually, if they received the Father, they should receive him because he is linked to the Father. He's the one who gives life even to the dead. And then Jesus goes on to speak about the witnesses, and he says, you believed John. John was a light shining. John was a clear light, and he gave witness to God. He said, but Jesus says, but I and the things I do are even greater witness. They hold greater weight. They are the proof of the fact that the Father is with me. But you're not receiving me. And the very important thing he says here is because the love of the Father is not in you. There's a real emphasis in John on the love of God, on the love of the Father. And Jesus says that you don't really love the Father. There's not a love relationship going on here. It says the Father has given the Son the share in his inheritance, and he says, but because you're not receiving the witness of the Father, you've not received the witness of John, you're not receiving the witness of the Father to me, then you're not receiving me. And therefore there's going to come a greater judgment, a greater what the Greek calls krisis, a greater crisis, a greater judgment that's going to come to those who reject the Son. And then lastly, Jesus says that you've looked in the Scriptures because in the Scriptures you think you have life, but the Scriptures actually speak about me. The Scriptures are pointing to Jesus. These scriptures that the Jewish leaders spend so much time poring over and commenting on are actually pointing to Messiah, Mashiach coming. And yet they've not picked up the fact from the scriptures that Jesus is coming, that Jesus is Messiah. And Jesus says, I'm not going to condemn you in this. It's not me that will judge you. It's actually Moses, your great teacher, Moshe Rabbeinu, the one who you look to as our rabbi, Moses our rabbi, Moses our teacher. Because you've not trusted his word, he's the one who you're going to receive judgment from. And this will be a real sharp pointing out of the failure of the Jewish leaders to receive what Jesus is saying. Jesus is very clear. He is sent by the Father. He does nothing except what the Father gives him to do, and he is at one with the Father in this relationship. And the things that he does, the miracles he's doing, are pointing towards him. But these people, his own people, as John says earlier, have not received him. They've rejected him. Let us make every effort today to receive Jesus, to see him in the Scriptures, to receive the witness that he has given to us from the Father. Have a very good May the 8th.